So, all right. So, guys, what are we going to do here today? What are we going to get into? We've got a good few things going on. I'm going to do the first part, and similar to last week, we're going to go ahead. We're going to have another presenter as well. It's really important that I know you guys have been really good. You've all gotten a lot. I've gotten a lot of emails from people looking to do presentations, which is great. So that's what I want to see. I want to see everybody getting up there doing presentations, at least 15-20 minute presentations, longer if you need it. But I think it's good experience for everybody. First off, it's always nice to get well, fresh ideas, fresh eyes on the topics, and different topics that maybe I'm not very versed in that you would like to talk about. So yeah, I think it's great, and I think it's good practice because again, remember, you're all going to be given the opportunity. You have the opportunity right now, the majority of you, if you're joint venture partners, but you'll all be given the opportunities to go ahead and set up workshops, do staff trainings, especially now that things are starting to open up again. So I personally, I would advise you, if you get the opportunity, if you have a topic you want to do, get hold of me. We'll get you slotted in. So what are we going to talk about today? Now, Mel Robbins. You know me and Mel. I got great time from Mel Robbins, and I tell you what I love about Mel Robbins: her simplistic approach to things, like her 5 second rule. The 5 second rule, as you know, I'm a big believer in. It's a great tool. It's all about it's a neuroscience similar to what we're doing with NAC, but it's a great way to interrupt your pattern and to go ahead and do to get control again. So I'm a big fan of the 5 second rule and her simplistic approach to it. And what I always respect about Mel Robbins is that she has launched, and I've said this before, she has launched an amazing career out of something so simple. And she's got a new book coming out. It's the High Five Habit, and it's not out yet. It's on pre-order at the moment. But what I want to do is I just want to play a little bit of a live stream that she recently did talking about the book, but talking about another topic that I think is equally important, similar to the 5 second rule. But I listened to the stream and I thought, this is actually really good. But the main reason I was looking for information on the High Five Habit again, which isn't out yet. And at the end of this stream, the reason I want to play it for you is she puts together a special offer for anybody who's pre-ordering the book or purchasing the book, some additional add-on things that you can get. So I want to make sure everybody's aware of them because again, I don't know. Look, maybe she doesn't connect with you the way she does with me, but I'll definitely be getting her book. And if you're into Mel Robbins, and again, if you're not, that's okay too. You don't have to be into, we all don't have to be into the same things. But if you are going to get the book, I think you should take advantage of the offers that she's talking about. But I just want to play the clip, and then we're going to have a quick discussion about it before turning it over to our next presenter. So look, enjoy it, guys. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it okay. Just do me a favor, if there's any problems with somebody can't hear it or anything, don't be shy about unmuting and just let me know. Okay, so.
Hey, it's Mel, and I want to talk to you about a simple mindset trick today that you're going to freaking love. If you worry, if you're anxious, if constant rumination kind of traps you in your mind, if you're constantly thinking about what you need to do, if you're worried about making a mistake, if you have analysis paralysis, this live stream is for you. So first of all, welcome to New York City. We are in New York City. We just finished the Almost 30 podcast. We're on the book tour for the High Five Habit. Thank you to everybody who is supporting this book. I love you. Thank you for your pre-orders. I'm sort of an unconventional author, and I was a little naive. I did not realize that pre-orders are a really big deal, because if you don't have a lot of them, a lot of big stores don't carry your book, which makes it hard for you to find the book. So I really appreciate your pre-orders. I literally only started talking about this book a week ago, and it is for sale right now, and it is also in bookstores at the end of the month. So your support right now really matters a lot to somebody like me. But that's not why I started this live stream. I wanted to talk to you about a mindset trick, okay? For those of you that don't know me, I struggled with anxiety for literally 30 years. And so do our 3 children. They've all struggled with anxiety at various moments. And my daughter used to have this word for it. It's called the what if loop. That when you get trapped in your mind, you start thinking about what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this goes wrong? What if I fail and somebody critiques me? What if this person judges me? What if that happens? What if they say this and I don't know what to say? What if my friends judge me? What if they think I'm weird? What if they think I'm silly? You can get trapped spinning what if thoughts all the time, okay? And so I want to give you a super simple trick that you can use to interrupt the what if loop. And it comes from both the research that I've done about having a high five attitude and empowering and encouraging yourself. And the reason why having a high five attitude is so important is because when you believe in yourself and your ability to face anything, when you believe in your ability through your attitude and your actions to have a positive impact on anything that you're dealing with in life, that's the secret to success. It doesn't remove the obstacles. It doesn't change the circumstances that you're dealing with. It changes you and your ability to face those circumstances and tap into the resilience and the courage and the confidence and the strength that is in you that is waiting to help you. That's what a high five attitude is. It's realistic optimism. Oh, gosh, okay, there's a gentleman walking in front of our car. Okay. So I was talking with Jenny, who's got her camera aimed at me. Jenny Maloney, if you need a phenomenal photographer. Hussein, who is my favorite person, sorry, Tev, to drive. And our COO and my fabulous sister-in-law, Christine. So we were sitting here talking. Jenny literally decided 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, about a month ago.
About a month ago. That where she was living was sucking her soul dry.
Mm-hmm.
She'd been thinking about it and thinking about it. How many of you have been thinking about, is this the right place for me to live? Should I move? Should I try somewhere new? Even if it's just like, I don't like this apartment or this neighborhood or my roommates. Have you experienced this? I have been experiencing this for 5 years. Every time I would take off and land in a new city, I would allow my mind to wander. Could I live here? Could I live here? Is it Austin, Texas? Is it San Diego? Is it Nashville? You know, is it Portland, Maine? I even considered Portland, Maine.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's cool. So she literally decided 4 weeks ago to honor that feeling inside of her. And the second that you started honoring that feeling, like, maybe I should move, even though my family lives here, even though people are going to be upset, maybe we need a change. When you feel depleted, when you feel like every morning you wake up and you don't want to high five your life, that's a signal. That means you got to dig deep and figure out what you really want. And you got to do some soul searching, and you got to find your strength and your courage to face and be honest with yourself about what's not working and make a change. So that's exactly what Jenny did. But when you start to get honest with yourself that you're not happy with your life, any aspect of it, you don't want to high five that relationship, you don't want to high five your friend group, you don't want to high five where you live, you don't want to high five that job, that's when the storm kicks in your mind. Because then you go, well, what if I'm wrong? And what if I don't have new friends? And what if it doesn't work? And what if this? And what if that? And what if the other thing? What if I don't sell my house? What if my kids don't like the new school? What are some other things that you had about it?
What if I don't find somewhere to live? What if my house doesn't sell? What if I'm making a big mistake?
Yeah, what if I'm making a big mistake?
And I was terrified.
Terrified.
And I thought that was my gut trying to tell me something, but no, any big change is freaking terrifying.
Yes, terrifying. Just expect that, okay? So if you don't high five your life right now, that's all the sign that you need to change. Then your mind is going to kick into what if mode to keep you paralyzed where you are, because your mind does not want you to change. It thinks change is scary. This is where you're going to use this little high five attitude flip. And I'm going to let Jenny tell it to you. What is the flip? Just tell them what that flip is. Instead of going, what if this is a mistake? What if this goes wrong? What if it doesn't work out? What do you say instead?
What if everything does work out?
What if everything works out?
I know it's so simple, but it's so profound.
What? Can you imagine if you went through life thinking, what if it works out for me? What if I make this big change and I actually love my new life? What if I start exercising and I love it? What if I decide to move and it all works out for me? What if I start this side business and it works out? Imagine placing a bet on yourself. That is how you have a high five attitude. You place a bet on yourself, on your dreams, on what you want, and it can be as simple as swatting away that bullshit. What if it fails? What if it doesn't work? What if my friends judge me? What if I'm unhappy? Look, there are very few things that are, I know, I'm really red. It's because I'm sort of having a hot flash right now. I keep it very real. There's no filter that I can have. I'm 53 years old. This is the kind of that happens to me. But what if, all those what ifs, you don't know if they're true or not. Are they serving you? What if it doesn't work? What if that? What if the other thing? What if, ooh, scaredy cat, paralyzed? Do you like that? How about you flip it? How about you get a high five attitude on? What if it all works out for me? What if it's hard in the beginning? And then a month from now, I look up and go, holy shit, this was the best decision I ever made. What if quitting your job is the scariest thing, but it all works out for you? What if ending that toxic relationship makes you feel scared and you dread being alone again? But what if 2 months from now, when you invest in building back a relationship with yourself, you can look in the mirror and you go, wow, it's all working out for me. That was exactly what needed to happen. What if the heartbreak that you're dealing with or the pain that you're dealing with, what if it's all just a dot on the map of your life connecting you to something amazing? What if it's preparing you for something? What if it all works out for you? You know, betting against yourself makes you feel miserable. Staying in situations that you don't want to high five, that make you feel depleted, it's the reason why you're not happy and fulfilled. I want you to start putting a bet on you, on your intuition, on your happiness, on what your heart and soul are screaming at you to do. If you can't high five every aspect of your life, I want you to stand in front of that mirror and start to get honest with yourself. I want you to get a piece of paper out and put a pen in your hand and start writing down what the do you want? What does a high five life look like to you? And you know what's interesting about using the term a high five life? You know exactly what that means. I don't even have to explain it. It's a life where every day, even on the hard days, you still want to wake up and high five what's happening. You're still waking up surrounded by people and playing a game that's worth playing to you. It's personal to you. And I'm here to tell you, you start to develop the daily habits of encouraging yourself. What if it all works out? What if this is actually the best decision I've ever made? What if it's really difficult? And going through this is going to make me a better version of myself. What if 6 months from now, after I make this change, I'm going to look in the mirror and it's not that you're not going to recognize yourself. You ready? You're actually going to recognize yourself. The you that's in there, the one that you're ignoring and criticizing. What if it all works out for you? That's my message for you today. I want you to take on that high five attitude. What if it all works out for you? I'm sitting here high-fiving you every step of the way because I believe that something amazing is happening in your life. I sense something extraordinary is about to happen for you. And when you start to leverage a high-five attitude, what if it works out? What if this is the best decision I've ever made? A really difficult one, but what if this is the best decision I've ever made? You know, I love to say that you're one decision away from a different life. So make the decision away to swat away those negative thoughts and bring up that high five attitude. What if it all works out for me? Believe, anchor down in hope and optimism and faith and in celebration of yourself and your ability to pivot your life anytime you choose. That's what's available to you. The second you decide to just get that negative shit out of your mind and adopt that high five attitude, because I do believe that I sense something incredible, extraordinary is going to happen for you. But first, you got to start to say, what if it works out for me? What if this is the best decision I've ever made? What if I place a bet on myself for a change? Wouldn't that be cool? I think it would be. For those of you that have already bought the High Five Habit, thank you so much. For those of you who haven't, your pre-orders would mean the world to me. And as a high five back, I'm going to give you 3 amazing gifts that are worth thousands of dollars. Literally, you get an immediate course on your morning and the science of developing a really powerful morning routine, so you can wake up and high five yourself and have a high five life. I'm also inviting you and giving you a free ticket to a 2.5-hour masterclass on the science involved in this book and taking control of your life and beating self-doubt and creating habits that will help you build a high five life, which is a life that you wake up and feel like you want a high five. And you're also pre-registered in this amazing challenge called the High Five Challenge. We're going to get millions of people to wake up the first week of October and begin their day with a high five in the mirror. 5 mornings in a row. And that's the secret, everybody. When you first start to change, it feels weird and scary. When you stand before a mirror and you do what I'm asking you to do, high five that reflection, send yourself into the day with a high five attitude, it's going to feel weird. That's because of all the what ifs and the resistance that you feel. Do it anyway. Just do it for 5 days and you'll be shocked at what changes, because what changes is you. And by the way, I'm going to put into this thing right here. Here is the website, highfivehabit with the number 5.com. Please, wherever you are in the world, go register your receipt, whether you buy the ebook, you buy the English version or any of the 22 languages it's being published in, or you buy the audiobook, which is going to knock your socks off, from Audible. Upload that receipt, and I will have 3 amazing gifts in your inbox for you as a thank you from me to you. We're going to have an extraordinary September and October. I do believe, I sense, I know something extraordinary is happening for you. I know it. And now it's time for you to know it and to believe it. Thank you in Iran, pre-ordering the book. I really, really, really appreciate your support. You know, I got some news yesterday that some of the big retail stores are not going to carry the book because I'm not a known author. And I guess the reason that's happening is I haven't been selling the book. It's coming out in 3 weeks, so I've only just started. I didn't realize pre-orders actually matter a lot. And being an unconventional and sort of an unknown author, I guess according to mass media, I'm a bit of an underdog. And so I can't tell you how much it means to me to have you guys buying up the book. Buy it at your independent bookstores. Buy it at Barnes & Noble. They're carrying it. So's Amazon. So's Audible. So are the indie stores. Support the Black and minority-owned bookstores. Grab your copies, please. And then get on over to highfivehabit.com and upload your receipt and get a bunch of free gifts from me as bonuses. I really appreciate you. Now. Oh, and thank you. I see Janal Avik. We got you. I love that you guys got me. Because it's really a lot to put yourself out there. But you know what? What if it all works out for me? What if getting rejection and having people say they're not carrying the book in these big stores, what if that is actually something that's meant to happen? What if it just makes me double down on the impact I want to make? In fact, there was an email that we got this morning. I wish I could pull it up. It's so profound. I think if I go off my thing, but literally we got an email this morning from a woman named Julie who said that the newsletter that I send out that hit her inbox yesterday, that just yesterday she had been literally at a crazy low moment in her life and was thinking about just throwing in the towel, as in, why even bother living? Why? Like, when you've had the shittiest 18 months of your life, why keep going on? I'll tell you why. Because there's something extraordinary, I sense that's coming for you. And she said that it was the things that I wrote about in this newsletter. And if you're not on the list, just go to melrobbins.com/newsletter. It's free. I don't get it out that regularly, so, with the ADHD and the dyslexia, that's a little bit of a challenge. But she wrote that it was exactly what she needed to hear, to feel affirmed, and to feel a sense of confidence and optimism again. That even though life is hard right now, she's got it within her to face this and to move forward. And so do you. Anyway, I love you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the High Five Habit together. We're going to make a avalanche happen of positivity, of empowerment, of high-fiving each other and ourselves. And it's going to change people's lives. And with your support, you're changing people's lives. And it starts by you changing your own. Your relationship with yourself is the most important relationship you got. So please, take on a high five attitude today. What if it works out? What if this is the best decision I've ever made? What if something extraordinary is in fact happening? I believe it's true. Now it's your turn to believe it's true.
Okay. So look, apologies. That was a little bit long, but I thought it was a really good one. I enjoy watching the live streams myself. I don't know if you guys follow any of the people that you're into, like Mel Robbins, Tony Robbins, or any of the others. I like to, and because you get special things like that, like you get the live streams and things. But just real quick, sorry, I just want to turn back on my video cam. But I thought that there's a couple things there, and I'm conscious of time because I apologize. It's running a little bit longer. It's a great technique to use, which she said there. The what if. Because we're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of getting stuck in that loop, primarily where, your head starts racing, all these negative thoughts are popping in. You're thinking, oh, what if this happens? What if he does this? What if she does that? What if I can't do it? What if I fail? All these things. But and this is all, again, neuroscience stuff. One of the techniques that we talk about is the power of questions. Asking yourself those empowering questions that are going to shift your state instantly. And that is a great one. What if it does work out? What if you're the decision you're contemplating, what if things go the way that you envision in your mind? So I'm just a big believer in questions. And just before we wrap it up, I might have told you this story before, but years ago, I used to volunteer with an organization. I know you have them in the UK. You probably know them, the Samaritans. And, what you would do is it's for people who were contemplating committing suicide or self-harm. And I would volunteer one day, so many hours a week. I think it was 3 hours a week, one overnight, once a month, where you would man the phones and you would talk to these people. And the thing about it is it's non-directive. You're not supposed to give advice. But being a student of Tony's, I used to always, when people would start saying things to me like, oh, I have nothing positive in my life. I have no one in my life who cares about me. I have nothing in my life worth living for. Now, you can't tell them what to do, but I would always just ask them a question. I'd always say, well, if there was something in your life that was good, what would it be? And right away, they would always say, oh, there's nothing. But then I'd say, no, I understand. But if there was, what would it be? And I'm not exaggerating. 85, 90% of the time, people would turn around. They'd say something like, well, I suppose, I have my dog. I really love my dog. Or I have my children. Or I have, this friend of mine. Or I really enjoy going to this place or this, whatever they're into. But again, just shifting the focus, and you do it with the power of questions. And I would just get them talking about that. And in a very short period of time, you can completely turn somebody around just by asking simple questions. So why not do it to yourself? Why not get some good, empowering questions? And again, that's a great one. If you do get stuck in that what if loop, that negative what if loop, but that's a very positive one. But come up with a bunch of different questions, you know, empowering questions that are going to, you know, shift your focus. So I thought that, and I just want to make sure too, the reason I let it play to the end there is because she did talk about those offers. If you are going to buy the book, and again, I'm not endorsing it, I'm not telling you to or anything else. I just know, like myself, a lot of you out there listening to this, either live right now or in, you know, in the recording down the road, are into Mel Robbins. So if you are going to buy the book, if you want, you should take advantage of those three things. She's got the course on the morning routine. Uh, she has the master class about the science behind it's a neuroscience. You know, that explains about the high five habit, and then you would be pre-enrolled for that high five challenge that's starting up in just another couple weeks. I think about another 10 days or something like that. So, and again, you can. I think she said, correct. I could be wrong. Hopefully, you guys got it. If not, look it up on Google. But I think it was high five with the new number five, not the word habit.com. And all you have to do is just upload your receipt, whether it be on Audible or through you know, wherever you purchased the book at. But again, I'm not endorsing it one way or the other. If she's not for you, she's not for you. That's cool. I myself, I'm a fan. I'll definitely be getting it. But again, some good techniques there. The power of questions, and I really like that whole concept about what if it does work out? You know, what if things do go in my favor? So, what are we going to do now? So now I want to present our next speaker, which I believe most of you know. You should know she's a fairly regular whenever she's available. She works a lot of hours and crazy shifts, an extremely busy individual. But Kinga is she's been with us now for about 7 months now. And Kinga is she's a very determined young woman, no question about it. I've got nothing but time for this next speaker here, Kinga. But she primarily she's been with us for about 7 months. She's just recently been promoted to joint venture partner. Kinga hit the ground running when she started with us. Before she even, from what I recall, before she even did her first lesson, she was referring people into us. Steve Brooks, who I don't believe is here today, I think he's on holidays. But if he is, well, then you all know Steve. I think you all know Steve anyway. But she referred Steve into us, and Steve is now a joint venture partner as well. But she's been very involved with everything, despite the fact that she works so many hours and has so many other things that she's working on behind the scenes. So look, Kinga, I'm assuming what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop my share. You've got the you have co-host, so you can go ahead and share your screen and turn on your cam and just go ahead and work away whenever you're ready, dear.
1 second, sorry guys.
Yeah, look at her.
Things disappears, but okay, I'm back. Hello everybody. Let me just make sure. So my screen is being able to be shared now, right?
Yeah, you should be able to share the screen. Let me know if there's any problem.
Okay, one moment. Go.
Take your time. Here we go. It's coming up now. Beautiful. Oh, I apologize. I never gave the theme, so I'll let you take it. So apologies.
That's all right. Okay, guys. So nice to see you. It's my first ever presentation, so be gentle with me. I basically want to just share a little bit of my own journey and experience and how one source put everything together for me, and we'll just take it from there. So what I would like to talk about is what I call intuitive living or in-tune living, which I describe as benefits of living in alignment with your natural ways. and then also how to create a routine that will support you on your journey without an overwhelm. Because even Patrick mentioned how busy I am, or I was, hopefully, not anymore. And it can definitely drive you into an overwhelm, and it didn't happen for the first time to me, and I generally believe that this is something that ideally we should all avoid it whenever possible. So generally, we all here are trying to create lasting positive habits. We have lots of goals that we set for ourselves. We want to remove negative patterns, beliefs, behaviors. During the journey, we're finding out exactly what we want, who we want to be, how we want to live and lead our lives. And well, you can add to it whatever you want, right? And of course, you have your work, maybe parents that you need to look after, or kids, or obviously life happens. So I would say that is an extremely busy lifestyle. And we need to make sure that we have a support system that can ensure that when we're working on ourselves and on our life, we don't go into that overwhelmed state. Because usually what happens, this is one of my favorite pictures. I'm pretty sure no one really likes it because what you can see, pretty much a tiredness and despair. And imagine a person who either just never really been trying to change their life before. They're very new to either personal development or basically looking into their minds and how they can influence their own life. It's a very new thing to them. Or imagine a person who is very into personal development and growth, and they generally lead extremely busy lifestyle and they want to do things. And if you not put right barrier in place, basically what happens? That's exactly what happens. You are tired, you are overwhelmed, and you then get frustrated, and then you might snap at your kids or your family, or you basically don't necessarily enjoy where you are at the moment. But there are definitely solutions to this, and I would like to introduce a few things that I've realized that definitely worked for me, and maybe some of you would benefit from them too. But before that, I would like you, if you can, if you don't want to, or you can, don't worry about it, you don't have to do this. But there is something playful I would like you guys to do. Hopefully you're all wearing socks and shoes or some sort of footwear. If not, don't worry. But if you could, basically remove your shoes and remove your socks, and then put your socks back on and the shoes back on. And I'll give you a couple of minutes. Maybe if, as soon as one of you is done, if someone could give me a shout that it's been done, it would be great, but I'll just give you a minute to do it. And if you don't want to, you don't have to do it. Is there anyone who could give me a go if it's been done, or are we okay to go ahead, or would you like a little bit more time?
All done.
Yeah.
Right.
All done on this end. Very good.
Thank you, guys. And then I would like you to think, how did it happen for you? Did you first remove your both shoes and then did you remove your socks? Or did you maybe remove one shoe and then one sock and then the other shoe and then the other sock? Or didn't even notice that? And then the same, how did it happen for you when you were putting your socks and shoes back on? Did you first did your socks and then shoes, or was it one sock and one shoe? Or again, didn't you even register that? Why do I come up with it? It's a funny anecdote that basically I choose to use an example to what we're leading towards. But in one of my in my job as a carer, I am looking after a lady who one of the tasks I need to do is helping her with putting socks and shoes on. And she has a very particular way of doing it. She likes only if I'll first put her sock on one foot and then the shoe, and then I start with another foot and I put the sock on the other foot and then the shoe. When for me it was feeling very, very weird because I realized that I was always doing it the way that I would put first my socks on and then the shoes on, which comes to my idea of generally balance and doing things evenly. I always been that way. And so it took an incredible amount of focus and time for me. That's just one simple thing to remember to do this for her the way she wanted it to be done. And yes, I've gotten used to it. Sometimes I even forget about it and there was no issue. But as soon as I had 4 weeks off and then I come back to see her and time came when I needed to put her socks and shoes on, I revert back to my own way of doing it. And obviously she stopped me and she's got really annoyed with me. And it took me literally 2 minutes, I think, to realize what was going on, why there is a problem. And then I remembered, oh right, I've put her socks on wrong. And that really got me think again about natural ways and about the things that I am basically going towards too, which is an inherent nature, or I call it also natural ways. So we use the adjective inherent to describe attributes that are part of the essential nature of something. It's different from you being told. Rather than being a description, it has to be a quality, and this quality is unchangeable. This is a dictionary definition. You can also identify that as something that you remember or identify with since you were a child. That's also something that, given a choice, you would always follow it or revert back to it. When it's missing out of your life, you're basically unhappy. So there is lots of things that you can think about. For example, are you a morning person or more an afternoon or evening person? When do you do your best work? Is it in the morning or in the afternoon? When are you the most creative? Do you even think about these things? Or is it so unconscious that you're not paying attention? And yes, some of it is a conscious behavior that then you can influence and change. But there are lots of things that actually it's the way you were born. It's your natural preference. It's your natural way of being. And then when you're actually aware of that, you can use that to maximize your schedule or your time or anything it is that you're doing. So for example, for me, during this summer and spring, I can definitely join a 5 a.m. club at least 2 or 3 times a week. And I have no problem waking up at that time and do some bits and pieces earlier. However, comes autumn and winter, this is a huge issue for me. So yes, I could try and overcome that, and I did, believe me, on many occasions, but I just do love my sleep. 5 o'clock in the morning when it's dark to wake up, it's really not my thing. So what I could do instead? Do you really want to fight and struggle and try to change it if it's not necessary where you are at the moment? Or do you want to switch and find the ways that actually you can work with it? So yes, during spring and summer, I am doing my 5 o'clock wake ups. But during autumn and winter, what I've decided to do instead, since I am going to bed later and I don't mind going to bed later, I'll just use 2 hours in the evening to do the same things I would want to spend that time early in the morning, or whatever else that I find that it's important to do in those time, but I just do them in the evening, and I still can get enough of my sleep, enough of my rest, and I am still able to do the things that I wanted to do. So I would invite you to observe yourself, observe how you do things, observe your natural flows if you've never done that before. See what you've driven naturally towards to, and then how this can help you on your journey in achieving anything that you want to achieve. There are lots of things that you can look up online that could help you. There are courses. I can, if you're ever interested, I can direct you to people to help me get breakthroughs in a specific topics in regarding to it. But you also have human design, numerology, or other bits and pieces if you're interested in things like that to sort of dive deep into it. But I always follow basically with observing yourself, and then listening to your heart or to your gut feeling, whatever feels right for you. And this is, in my opinion, the best place to start when you're trying to look into what it is that you're naturally drawn to. And then what I'm thinking about, how I've implemented that into my everyday life, and what the second thing that I've noticed is very important is it's creating a structure and or a plan of a day, however you want to define that. And it can be as rigid as you want it if you're very particular, very specific person that needs to have everything timed up, or it can be very flexible. But I found a huge value in at least putting out there the things that are a must-dos, or planned things that I know, like meetings or trainings or anything that is already set in stone for the day. And within that planning, you leave room from flexibility. And what you also do, implementing your natural ways. So like I've mentioned, instead of getting up early in the morning, I am just doing some bits and pieces in the evening. When you plan your day, I would always focus on your sleep first. So I'm starting a little bit from the back end, but we are all different. We need a different amount of sleep. If you're not rested, you're not going to be as productive and as happy as you would like to be. So if it's 7 hours for you, or 6 or 8, whatever that is, you should start planning from that you can always accommodate for that amount of hours of sleep. For example, I know I can, even though my ideal is 9 hours, 7, 8 is good. I can go one day in a week with less than 6 hours of sleep. But if I would go beyond that, it creates a chaos in my life, and you just don't want to do that. So it is whatever that is for you. You first plan according to that, and then you're mapping out your must-dos for the days, and then you're creating also your optimal plan of how you would like your day to look like. And you do ideally need to do it in a way that match with where you're at now. So if you're someone who's just starting and wants to make lots of changes, but for example, works 8 hours a day, and then travels to work for an hour on one day, which adapts to 2 hours, then obviously you need to get ready. Then do you think it's feasible to ask of that person or ask of yourself to I don't know, go to the gym every day afterwards, to I don't know, have meetups with friends, or whatever it is that you want to do, or go home and work for 2 hours of your business if that's what you're doing. It can be done for a certain amount of time, but we are here to create a lifestyle. So if you want to create a lifestyle and a journey, then it very quickly could lead you to overwhelm. And when we setting our goals, we often, I found that on so many people that I talk to or people that I work with, we want to do so much in such a short period of time, and we're putting this unrealistic timeline on ourselves without actually understanding the amount of things that we're doing already in a day. And some people have kids or work and have kids, or they just work crazy hours. Everyone has very different lifestyles. So you kind of need to accommodate what you're doing into that. So, and on the average, I would say a very busy person can accommodate 2 hours in a day to do extra work, let it be a business or whatever it is that you want. And within that, let's say your optimal for that days would be focusing 2 hours on bits and pieces that you need to do for a business or for basically expanding your finances or anything that, directs you towards your future. But, life happens. There can be lots of different situations. So you ideally should create plan B, plan C, plan D, how many it is that you actually want and you feel you might need, and having the alternatives. So even though your aim is for 2 hours, even if you do 1 hour or half an hour, or even if you just one task per the thing that you want to do, it's still fine. And you still should acknowledge that, because it is moving you towards you, and you, based on what happened in your day, you've managed to do it. It's not like you were sitting and basically relaxing on a couch watching Netflix for 10 hours, right? And also the same with exercises. And I think there exercising, or basically health category, is very very easy for everyone to understand. So I like to use that as an example. If you, on your optimal day, let's say that yes, you can go to the gym because you have enough energy for that day. But what happens if you don't have enough energy, or you have to stay at work extra hour, or something else happens? What do you do then? Do you mark yourself 0, or do you go to bed unhappy that you didn't do exercise, or do you find alternatives? Let it be. Especially, I would say, if you're working 8+ hours a day and you travel to work, is there a journey that you could, is there a journey that you can take that involves walking, even if it's 15 minutes? If that's the case, you can walk 15 minutes to your workplace, you can walk 15 or 20 minutes back home within that journey. If you're using tube, you can walk on every elevator instead of standing. You can walk around the office a couple of times a day. That will actually, take you away from the desk, which is very needed when you work long hours. And also it would give you that movement. Also, if you're generally more prone, that's coming back to natural ways, to enjoy walking or running, then you don't necessarily have to go to the gym. If you've never really been a gym person, why would you start with that, especially when you're very busy? It probably would be more beneficial if you would input walking into your daily routine wherever you can fit. And the same with any other things that you want to actually apply to. Or, for example, when something really crazy happens and you're feeling like you're not going to have time to do any exercises. What I done the other day was, I believe it was last Tuesday. Actually, I didn't even think I will be able to attend the call because I was working then, but I was lucky that I was able to. What I did while I was attending our Tuesday training, I was actually stepping a little bit forward, backwards, 2 steps here and there. Of course, you wouldn't do anything crazy that would take your mind off of the training, but stepping is actually something feasible that you could do. So I was standing, listening to the to presentations, and walking at the same time. So I was doing my steps, which was also an active movement. So it's all about applying and finding ways that you can implement in your day in a place that you are at. And you can always aim for your optimal, but as we discussed, life happens, and you can get really busy. So it's about finding those alternatives that still direct you towards your end goal on the daily basis and puts your focus to and towards to, and you not getting yourself into that overwhelmed state. And on the top of that, if you use those natural ways, your preferences, and you implement them into your daily routine, that just make things a lot easier. You don't feel like you're struggling. And the other thing is, at every place or every state that you are, you do have to acknowledge what you have done. There is no thing too small. There is no thing that you would think of yourself that it's not good enough. How many times are you going to sleep thinking that I should have done more or I should have done this better? When you actually had a very full busy day, you still were able to do something to do towards your best future. And at the end of the day, you're not happy about yourself, or you just beating yourself up for something silly that you haven't done, or you scoring yourself 0 on the board. And that leads me also to a comment. It is who you are now will get you where you want to be. So appreciate you now. Because yes, the future gonna happen, and especially I believe all of you who's been through a process for some time now experience quite a few small, different type of miracles, and then they were able to maybe already change their lifestyle quite a bit and build up the muscles to go further with things. But who is getting you there? It's exactly the person who you are now. And you do need to take time to appreciate you and be happy with the moment and be happy with where you are now in order to have that strength to go forward. And you need to thank yourself. And I really would like everybody to take a moment to just appreciate that everything that you do is enough and you are great exactly as you are now. And everything that I was saying, hopefully some of it was useful, leads me to a formula that I've decided to share. Formula to create your own way of living. For me, it is maximizing on your inherent nature and natural ways. Within that, creating a schedule, daily routine that is in alignment with you and where you are now, which can always be built up on. Then knowing what to do and using the system, using one source system. And if you accommodate all of it, hopefully it will make the journey to your best future so much more easy and much more happy or happier. And that's another thing why I would like to thank one source, because I think that everything that I've discussed can be very easily accommodated into your scoring board, into your dashboard, into everything that we do within one source. So again, thank you to Patrick, and thank you for having me on that journey, and I hope you've enjoyed that presentation. Thank you, guys.
Wow. Outstanding. Outstanding, Kinga. Wow, that was amazing. I can't believe you're saying that that's your first presentation you've done since you were in school. So no, it was very well thought out. Great message. And you're so right about all of it. Like I've noticed that I suppose I never thought about it in such detail, but I know even when I work, like I'm a morning person, no question about it. I'm at my sharpest first thing in the morning. As the day goes on, my energy drains. I'm definitely, it's much more difficult for me to be creative or to concentrate on difficult tasks. So I've learned when I structure my workday to always do the most challenging things that I have to do that day first thing in the morning. And then I like to save the things that don't require a whole lot of thought, that don't require a whole lot of creativity, that are more fun and exciting until the end of the day. But no, I really did like that. That was fantastic, and I really appreciate you doing it. You did an amazing job. So, okay, guys, look, we're gonna wrap it up there. I want to thank Kinga again. I want to thank everybody for coming. With great turnout and great way to support each other. We'll have again, anybody who would like to do a presentation, get in touch with me. I know there's a few of you out there have already contacted me. I'll be in touch with you over the next day or two to go ahead and slot you in. But I think this is good for us. I think it's a great way to go ahead and start honing your craft, to get different points of view out there, share ideas. And I think it makes things a lot more enjoyable as well. So, look, Thanks again, everybody. We're going to wrap it up there, and we will see you all next week, okay? Thanks again, Kinga. You're a star.